and you can see his rings, his Heisman trophies, a lot of the plaques and other accomplishments that he had over his period of time as both a player and as a coach. And behind us, you can actually see all the helmets of all the teams that he was involved with during his career as a football player and a football coach. So this is a special place. We're very fortunate to be able to have our podcast broadcasted live from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And because we're the official law firm of the Florida Gators, we have some really good giveaways that we are honored to be able to give up moving forward. It's going to be volleyball season, football season, and of course, as we move forward, there'll be more and more sports. But for the initial future, the first volleyball tickets that we're giving out this weekend is for the Alabama game, and we're giving away a 4-pack, meaning 4 tickets, plus a $50 Harry gift card to a winner who wants to. And to win the volleyball tickets, you go to our Facebook page at Meldon Law, or you can go to our Instagram account. And if you have any issues finding it, just give us a call at 352-373-8000, and we'll tell you how to enter in for the free 4-pack and $50 Harry's gift card. And we're also giving away another 2-pack of tickets and a $25 Harry gift card for the volleyball, women's volleyball match versus Alabama. If you don't know much about UF women's volleyball, we have a great team. It's exciting. It's in the O-Dome. It's air-conditioned, and it takes about 2 hours to watch a full volleyball match. So it's a great night out if you want to go to Harry's, grab some food, and then go check out the volleyball volleyball match. It's really fun. We're also doing an interesting 4-pack of tickets that we're giving away, which is not Gator-related, and that is to the REO Survivor concert on September 24th. I believe it is it's the tribute bands. I'm not sure. Are you sure? Do you know if it's actually REO and Survivor that's performing in Ocala?
I think it's a tribute.
It's a tribute band. Okay, so Mike's also giving me some assist here, but we're giving away 4 free tickets. It's a Wind FM concert. They do, they're the local rock and roll radio FM station there. So we're going to be giving away 4 packs of those tickets as well. You can go to our website, www.meldonlaw.com, or our Facebook page, the Meldon Law Facebook page, to be able to enter in for those 4-pack of tickets. And then the last promo is actually for the beginning of October 1st to 2nd. We are going to be promoting the Ocala Home Show at the World Equestrian Center. For those folks out there who have not been to the World Equestrian Center, you need to go because it is hard to describe the massiveness of it and how well it's incredible. It's like the Taj Mahal of North Central Florida. I think it's going to be attracting people to Ocala for decades to come, and something like that is worth visiting, even if it's for a home show and not a horse show. I think you'll get the gist of how big and how magnificent those grounds are. So that is also, we're giving away tickets to that on our Facebook page as well. So that's the giveaway announcements for today. We're done with that. I've done my duty with the giveaway announcements, and we can get into the fun part, which is talking about Mike and why he's here today. So Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Mike Mildner, you're from the Ocala Mountain Bike Association. Are you from Ocala originally?
Originally from Detroit.
Okay.
I moved down after high school and then moved a few places in Florida, and then my folks settled in the Ocala area, and we've kind of been here ever since.
So I'm assuming Detroit doesn't have very many mountains, right?
They do not.
Okay, in Ocala,
it's more an urban thing.
It's more of an urban thing. So and Ocala, of course, doesn't have any freestanding mountains or big mountains.
None.
So how did you get into mountain biking?
So the club, by the way, loves that response.
Yeah.
We bring people to the trails, and they show up and they say, mountain biking, but you don't have any mountains in Florida. So we take them about 40 miles out into the woods, and they realize they have to pedal all the way 40 miles out and 40 miles back, and then they come back with a bigger respect for mountain biking.
Oh yeah. Well, we're going to get into the trails in a few minutes.
It's certainly an eye-opener for sure.
But so how did when did you first start mountain biking yourself?
So I had been I always cycled in school when I was in elementary school, middle school, high school. Didn't ride a bike or be on a bike for many, many years after that. And one of my good buddies is a major with Lake County. And he pretty much twisted my arm and said, let's go mountain biking. Come on, everything's free. You can just go go wherever you want. And then you start buying gear. And you find out it's really not so free after all.
No, it's not free at all.
And the this and the that and the pads. So long story short, he twisted my arm. I bought an entry-level mountain bike. And I said, well, if I do it for 6 months and I like it, I'll keep doing it. If I don't like it, I'll sell the bike and no harm done. So, and I ended up going out there, and of course you meet the people that are out there, and they're just a fantastic group of, just the best volunteers you can find.
So you were already in Ocala when you first started mountain biking?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It was about 2016 I, got back on a bike and went out there and discovered the trails.
And we're going to talk about the trails, because this is really something that a lot of people in North Central Florida do not know, but it's really incredible what is out there in Ocala. Before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about what is your formal title with the Mountain Bike Association of Ocala?
I'm the current president.
Okay, so if you have any questions, this is the man to ask. He's the president, and he knows what's going on with Santos and essentially this worldwide attraction that you guys have sitting there near the Ocala National Forest, correct?
It's actually on the Cross Florida, Marjorie Harris Carr Cross Florida Greenway State Park.
So it is considered a state park?
It is a state park.
Well, there you go. So it's protected so future cyclists can enjoy it as well. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about Santos Trails, okay? What are Santos Trails?
So Santos Trails originated back in around 1994, and it was a small group of volunteers that went out and basically formed the club, created a partnership with the state, with the land managers from the Greenway, and we basically were signed up to build and maintain trails through volunteer efforts on the trail system. So the trail system as it sets today is it's a little over 100 miles of single track.
Wow.
Of course, it was nothing at that point.
Yeah.
So every bit of that's been built since '94.
How do you build bike trails?
Well, first you need to have a creative eye.
Okay.
And some of the folks from some of our forefathers from the club had a great eye, and they went out and you basically go for a big long walk in the woods and picture yourself on a mountain bike going through that terrain. There's things about, how you place a trail, where you place it, water drain off. If you build it wrong, it just roots out, and first time it rains, it'll wash away, and then you don't have a trail anymore. So, the important part is to build in harmony with nature that's already there. A single track is, it's 10 inches wide, a trail going through the woods.
Wow.
So, our impact to the actual land is very minimal. And it gives you, over 100 miles of adventure out in the woods to, basically go for a ride and clear your head. And when I first got involved with the club, that was what it was. It was a ride in the woods. You drop everything else off, you hit the woods, and you're just a guy on a bike taking a ride. And
Santos Trails is located in North Ocala, right? Near the kind of in the northern part of Marion County?
We are just south of Ocala.
Oh, just south of Ocala.
Yeah. So if you're on 441 and you're going south, when you hit the sheriff's substation where the road splits, that region through there was going to be the barge canal, the Cross Florida Barge Canal. And it has now that whole band of land which goes from the Atlantic Ocean to the Gulf side. It's a green band now. That's the Greenway Park. So all of that was protected land, and that was, if anybody's familiar with Marjorie Harris Carr, she was a conservationist, and she fought the barge canal tooth and nail.
Oh, when was this?
It originally started building, I think it was in the 1800s. It was a long time ago. It shut down for a long time. Then it fired back up after World War II. And it was kind of a construction project where it would put people to work. So they re-energized it, and they started building again. And then, of course, that's when she got involved, and she advocated for not putting this thing through Florida.
Interesting. I did not know that. I learn things on the podcast all the time.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. What is Santos Trails, when you say trails, are they just bike trails? Are they walking trails? Like, is there, what does it encompass?
So the Greenway Park, the entire Cross Florida Greenway, it hosts equestrian trails, it hosts hiking trails, biking trails. The Florida Trail goes through there, which is a hiking trail that goes from east to west across Florida. We all kind of coexist in that space. So there's areas that are only, for biking, only for horses. In the last few years now, a paved trail has been put all the way through Santos. That will eventually connect, and you'll be able to go from the Atlantic Ocean all the way over to the Gulf side.
Cool.
Riding a bike on a paved trail.
That's incredible, right?
So it is pretty cool.
So do you do distance? I know you're into mountain biking, and for those people out there, at least me, I associate mountain bikes with, the shocks in the front, the shocks in the back. They have the gears on the front, but it's not for long distance riding, right? It's mostly relatively short distance.
Some of my riders would disagree.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this then. What's the longest trail, the mountain bike trail that you guys have in Santos?
Well, we host every year when we do our big event, which is a Fat Tire Festival. We have an epic 50-mile mountain bike ride.
Wow. Well, that would be
50 miles on a mountain bike, and I did it one time. I did it about 6 months into riding bikes, and it was hard.
Yeah, that's like driving from Gainesville to Ocala on a
bike.
bike. On a bike in with elevation. And we're going to go to a break in a couple minutes. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about the elevation and the difficulty of Santos trails. And when we come back, we can discuss it in more depth. But mountain biking trails obviously connote mountains, right? Like that's the traditional definition of mountain biking. How would you characterize this as a mountain biking experience in Ocala?
So the Ocala area and Santos in particular, it boasts, one of our things listed on our web pages is that we supply something for everybody. So we have freestyle areas where you can jump bikes. We have the majority of the trails are built on what would have been the barge canal. Well, a lot of the barge canal had been dug. So the elevation we're using and utilizing to make the trails is the old bed that would have become the canal one day.
Mostly, I would assume limestone type.
Mostly limestone.
And so the structural integrity is there. It's not washing out a lot of the trail.
Some does, some does, some doesn't.
But a lot
that's
of
where
it,
we come in.
A lot of it, you're able to go up and down and actually have a
Absolutely.
true mountain biking experience and use your shocks and the parts of the bike that are designed, to navigate technical parts of the trail.
You have a rock, you have, there's rock slide areas, climbing areas. All of the area where the dirt was dug up and stacked, we're climbing that too, so wherever like I said, our trail builders, when we go out, you have to pick something that's cool. You have to make it interesting for whoever's riding it.
All right, well, we're going to a break. We'll be back, and we have some more fun stories to talk about.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. Look what you have done to my truck.
Excuse me, it's your fault, it's not my fault.
Yes, it is your
No,
fault.
it's not,
I am calling Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law.
So I'm gonna call Jeffrey, my husband.
Meldon Law, this is Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey!
This crazy lady here, this crazy lady, he might...
New client?
Yes, but this one might be a little tricky.
Well, I was in a truck accident. Because of the accident, I've resulted in 3 back surgeries. We saw advertisements on TV, and guess who popped up more often than not? It was Jeffrey. The communication that he provided was so appreciative that he shows his compassion as a human. He assisted us in achieving one of our dreams, the acquisition of a home, and we're here today with smiles on our face with the assistance from Jeffrey.
Okay, we're back here at Meldon Law and Friends. I have not told Mike this yet, but actually, if you can, obviously you can see I have a beard on TV here today. The last time I did not have a beard was about 3 years ago, and I was in Telluride, Colorado, and I happened to be there during the summer, and one day I decided to go mountain biking. And the way it worked in Telluride is you take a ski lift up, and then you ride down these trails that zigzag down the mountain. And it was very, very difficult. I had mountain biked when I was a kid. I was a BMX racer. I thought it was going to be simple, and it was not so simple. And me and my then girlfriend, who's no longer my girlfriend, but we were out there mountain biking together. She could not get down the trail, so she decided to take her bike and go down the side of the mountain, walking it down, which was very dangerous. And I followed her on my bike, resulting in me going over the handlebars, and I destroyed my entire face. And I still think I have a scar right here on my lip, which is covered by my beard. So that's my that's my
beard
intro.
forever
Yes,
now, huh?
I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from mountain biking out there, but make sure you do wear your helmet. I was wearing a helmet, and that was probably a little bit more advanced than me and her were supposed to be doing, because it's hard when you're going down, even when you're going
It's
downhill.
harder to walk the bike down the hill than it is to ride it.
I
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
But I will tell you, I'm still going mountain biking because it's fun, it's great exercise, and it's a great opportunity for you to get out in nature and enjoy it. So without further ado, I want to talk to Mike a little bit more about Santos. First of all, you were talking about, the trails and how there's a, the Fat Tire Fest, which I want to talk about in a little bit. But for those listeners out there that, have never been mountain biking before, but want to try to explore, the opportunity to go mountain biking, like you were when you first decided, your friend said, let's go mountain biking, you bought your bike. Is Santos a good fit for them at this point, or should
Absolutely.
they? Okay. So you do have trails for beginners, intermediates, and advanced.
Any of the trails in our trail system are marked using IMBA,
Mm-hmm.
like the International Mountain Biking Association colors. And the reason we just swapped to all of those colors as part of the, we have guests that come from Europe, everywhere. So
Wow.
the IMBA standards on our trails lets somebody know, I'm on the trail for me, or I probably don't want to ride this one.
Do you know the colors off the top of your head?
I do.
Okay.
So the old colors were yellow, blue, and red, and then we changed to the IMBA colors, which are green, blue, and black.
Like skiing.
Kind of. I think they are the same colors for that.
Green is easy. Beginning, intermediate
So
is
you have,
blue.
and then the black has a single diamond or a double diamond.
Yes.
Which is
Very cool.
harder, and you might
Expert.
not make it back out.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're doing.
So you have expert trails at Santos if you want to, if someone from overseas or
Absolutely.
other parts of the country want to come in and check them out.
And the idea is something for everybody.
Yeah.
The local shops, there's 3 or 4 local really fantastic bike shops. And those shops, most of them rent bikes. So, for just a rider saying, it might not be for me.
Yeah.
You show up, give them a little bit of your money, get a set of pedals and a helmet from them. And you basically have a mountain bike for the day, bring a couple buddies along and you can try the trails.
So what's the cost of being able to go in the park?
To get into the park, there's no cost.
Oh, wow.
Like I said, it
Yeah.
is free everywhere you go where you want to ride a bike. There are some parks that are pay parks.
Mm-hmm.
Any of them on the state land, you show up and you ride.
Wow.
The gear, once you get biking, that was the kind of bait and switch when I started. Everything's free till you buy a bike. And
So it really is. So what in terms of renting a bike, how do people contact you so you can give them the information on how to get a bike so they can bring it out there and ride?
they would contact directly to one of the bike shops local to the trailhead, and you make basically a little contract with them to rent the bike for the day.
Okay.
It's half day or all day. I'm not sure how their rental thing works because of course I bought my bike when I went out there.
Right.
But you basically you go in there and sign some paperwork and make sure you leave your driver's license number and stuff in case you drive your bike halfway across Florida and don't come back. But basically, if you love the bike, you come back and you want to buy the bike, the price of the rental comes off at most of the shops, and then you buy a bike. So they do it to get you on a bike and maybe sell you a bike.
What would you recommend cyclists bring with them when they go on the trails?
If you're going there for a day and you're gonna rent a bike and you're gonna try it, you want to bring a hydration pack, Camelback or something, plenty of water. You want to bring whatever food you need, and the rest of it is helmet and whatever pedals you like to use.
And you could probably rent a helmet too, I'm assuming.
Well, I think they give you a helmet with the rental.
Oh,
But
cool.
If you
That's
already
very
have
nice.
one, you can bring your own certainly. And the rest of it is, just whatever riding gear you ride in, something comfortable. And then you go out and ride the bike.
So do you guys do any events out there on Santos?
There are several smaller events. We partner with some of the local, the different race companies that come in and they'll host, we do a 12 Hours of Santos race.
When is that usually?
I'd have to look. I don't remember.
It's
the
like
month,
once
but
a year?
Yeah, it's a once a year annual.
Okay.
Of course, our big that the club puts on, we do our Fat Tire Festival, which is the second week of March.
Okay, so that's good. So you have some time to prepare for that.
Absolutely.
So tell the audience a little bit about the Fat Tire Festival.
So the Fat Tire Festival, when the club was young, the first Fat Tire Festival, I think they said 24 people showed up.
Okay.
So that was,
Intimate.
way back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, a bunch of people standing around, and it was small and young. Today, our annual, it's in excess of 12,000 visitors come now to the Fat Tire Festival.
How long is this festival?
It runs from in the middle of the week. I don't know the exact dates this year, but it runs from the second week of March. Starts on Wednesday. We start moving in.
That's incredible.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And really the event itself is Thursday to Sunday.
That's incredible. So 12,000 attendees. Now, are they all riding, or is it just people watching?
Some of them ride. I mean, we have a
Gosh.
big vendor midway that we set up, and vendors bring all of their demo bikes and set up. We have different food trucks that show up, apparel.
Cool.
So if you're curious, you want to ride a bike, that's all free to get into the vendor midway. You can show up and test drive bikes all day if you want to.
Is there a website where we can check this out?
Absolutely.
Like how would we find more information about these festivals, including the Fat Tire Festival, which sounds awesome?
Absolutely. We have santosfattire.com is the actual Fat Tire website, which will give you information on all of the events that go on. The event has live music for a couple of the nights, so it's a pretty cool time. And as well, the Epic Ride, that we host that ride every year, and that's 50 miles on a mountain bike. And of course, you go out there and try and prove that you have what it takes to do 50 miles.
That's an endurance test, huh?
Our main website is omba.org,
Okay.
omba.org.
omba.org. So you can start off on omba.org and go from, I'm sure there's hyperlinks within the website to be able to go.
Absolutely.
So that's where we would start. Mike, this is really cool. There's so much information that we can go through. I'm going to try to pick a couple questions I have before we have to sign out in a few minutes. But I guess my next question is, if people want to be part of your organization, what would you suggest how they start? Who do they contact? What's the process in that?
So 2 ways to start and to volunteer. We do a first and third Saturday of every month. We try to do some kind of a work day where we pick apart in the park, that needs a little help and a little love, and we go out there and dig. It might be wood repair, trail trimming, trail building. We're building a couple new trails right now as well.
Cool.
Any volunteers that would like to get involved or get more information on the club, the omba.org website, of course, has all and then you just show up for a work day.
Is there a annual membership fee or a monthly membership fee to be a member of OMBA?
So to join OMBA, we have several different memberships. You have an individual membership, which is $25 a month,
Okay.
or a year,
A year.
annually.
So that's like $2.50 a month.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Or less than that, I guess. So it's really, really low. It's
And
good.
of course, all of the funds that the club raises, whether it's the Fat Tire Festival or any of the other items, many of our business partners will give donations to the club to help us do what we do. We try to maximize every bit that we can put in the dirt, and bring it out there to the trails to help maintain and build cool new stuff for our riders.
Cool. And in terms of the future, where do you see Santos moving? I know that this Fat Tire Festival sounds like it's a worldwide attraction. Are we going to keep moving, you think, into that growth phase with regards to this trail?
I think the to hit 12,000 people coming, and the people that come once, they come again and again and again, because it is a fantastic time out in the woods. We could grow it more, but it's an intimate setting right now, and it's if it grows, it grows. If it does, if it grows, we'll manage it. If it doesn't grow and it stays, it's pretty big right now. So of course, in the repeat people every year, you get to sit around in the campfire and hang out with people that you've become friends with.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome to get back to it every year.
And it's not like a surfing. When you go to surf, there's always territories, and the advanced surfers won't let you on their territory. And I think it's a welcome environment for all people, right, that want to go and ride Santos.
You may get the occasional more advanced rider that might come by talking a little smack to you on the trails, but the mountain biking community, by and large, as a whole, it's people that get stuff done.
Yeah.
To go out and mountain bike, it's not easy.
No, it's
so
not.
the people
I promise
who
you, I know.
can't hack it, they're at home on the couch.
Yep.
So you will find your doers out in the woods. So it's a good place to meet positive people.
Do you ever? I know there's some trails out here in Gainesville, San Francisco trails.
There is.
But they're nothing close to what Santos offers.
San Francisco is a really good trail system too.
Okay.
They've put a lot of sweat equity in those trails as well. We have in and around Florida, you have great trails in Tampa. You have great trails in Lakeland.
Okay.
So there is a lot of opportunity to ride.
So this is great. So it's a brand. So if people want a healthy outdoor activity to be able to discover new things, mountain biking may be a perfect opportunity for them to get started. And you said you got started in 2016, right?
I got started. Yes, I got started again in 16.
So it's never too late. Like I said, I tried it last year. I'll try it again, even though or not last year, 3 or 4 years ago, and I'll try it again, even though it did not end perfectly for me. It is, I think, as long as you're not driving off the side of a mountain, it's a pretty safe activity if you stay within your colors.
Know your range and stay within
green,
your
then
range.
blue, then black, then double black, in that order, right?
It's green are the easy ones. Blue
Yeah.
is in the middle. Yeah, blue is intermediate. And blue is really where you're going to grow your skills.
Okay.
And then black you ride once you've mastered.
Do you have the street location, perchance, of Santos, or where people would go if they wanted?
I do not know the exact address, but if you Google the Santos Trailhead, it comes right.
So
right
Google
up. It's
Santos
on 80th Avenue.
So you can Google Santos Trailhead. It's south of Ocala, and it's a great opportunity. Mike, we have about 40 seconds before we end the show. You want to give your information once again for the website and anything else you want to let the audience know?
Certainly. You have the omba.org is our main website. There's, of course, Santos. FatTireFestival.com is another. If you want to reach out direct to the club, we have an info@omba.org web address or an email address where you can send something direct, or show up first or third Saturday of each month and work with us, and most of us are there, so
Love it.
you can meet the crew.
All right. Well, Mike, thank you for coming on, and we want to thank you, Mike Mildner from the Ocala Mountain Bike Association, and good luck, and we'll see you soon.
Got a little something to give you.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. Look what you have done to my truck.
Excuse me, it's your fault, it's not my fault.
Yes, it is your
No,
fault.
it's not. No,
I
it's
am
not.
calling Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law.
So I'm gonna call Jeffrey, my husband.
Meldon Law, this is Jeffrey speaking.
This crazy lady here, this crazy lady, he might...
New client?
Yes, but this one might be a little tricky. When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. We still hear it. The sound of victory. The joy of being part of something great. And while things may not be the same right now, we haven't gone anywhere. If you bleed orange and blue, then Meldon Law is the firm for you.
We are here at the University of Florida, where Albert and Alberta are competing in the Gator penalty shootout. Albert is ready to stop the shot at all costs. What a disaster! Luckily, Meldon Law is the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. If you have suffered any injury, do not worry, because Meldon Law is going to help you with your recovery. Meldon Law doesn't back down until they reach their goal.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Okay, we're back here at Meldon Law and Friends. This is our weekly podcast. We have been doing this for almost 2 years since COVID started, and we have not missed a week. We're nearing on 200 guests, which is crazy because I can't believe we find such amazing people to come talk to us. But today's no exception. We have a great guest. We just had Mike Mildner from the Ocala Mountain Bike Association, who was talking about 12,000 people come from all over the world for a week festival in Ocala for this Fat Tire Fest. I didn't even know about it. There's like bands there, and I mean, so I always learn something really cool, and I'm sure Rynni Henderson sitting next to me will be no exception. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about Rynni's incredible background. I think those listeners out there from North Central Florida will probably be like, oh yeah, I remember that, or I know that, because she's got a really intricate relationship with North Central Florida. Before we do that, let me once again talk about the podcast giveaways. Once again, you go to our Facebook page, Meldon Law Facebook page, and we're doing giveaways for volleyball versus Alabama, and that's on September 21st. The REO Speedwagon Survivor concert on September 24th. I think, and maybe you know, I think that's a what's that called when they're not the actual bands? Cover bands.
Cover band,
Yes, I think that's cover bands. So just to be clear out there, I do not think it's REO Speedwagon and Survivor that are playing Ocala, but it could be. You got to check our Facebook page to find out. We're giving away free 4-pack of tickets, and then we're also going to give away tickets to the Ocala Home Show at the World Equestrian Center, which is October 1st and 2nd. If you have not been to the World Equestrian Center, as Rynni's going to tell you, it's like the Taj Mahal of North Central Florida. Yeah. I've been out there a few times, and every time I go out there, I discover something new. And we are very lucky to have that. It's going to really push Ocala to the forefront of the horse community, which it already was, but this might be the feather that tips the scale. And when I say a feather, it's $1 billion feather. So it's it's like a really, really expensive feather. But anyways, the point is we've got some really fun stuff. If you go to our Meldon Law Facebook page, you can check out our free giveaways. So without further ado, we're going to go forward with our next guest, Miss Rynni Henderson. Rynni, welcome to Meldon Law and Friends.
Thank you so much. Can you all hear me okay?
I think so.
Yes.
Tammy, can we hear everybody? Tammy's giving me the head. Our producer's giving me the thumbs up here.
Great. Thank you.
So
Kurt.
we're good to go. So Rynni, I want to talk to you a little bit, first of all, about your background. So where are you from originally?
New Orleans.
New Orleans, Louisiana.
Louisiana originally, yes.
And so what brought you to North Central Florida?
So I have a long history with Florida. I lived in Florida for many years. I've been a newspaper and magazine publisher, so I've moved around quite a bit. I actually left Florida in 1999 from Key West. So a few years ago, came to the opposite end of the state.
I'm
right?
going to
Up
Key West
here.
this weekend. I'm
Yeah,
excited
it's
about
fun.
it. Yes.
It's fun. What brought me here was I was brought in as the publisher for the Gainesville Sun and the Ocala Star Banner
Wow.
in 2019. Yeah.
So that's a huge deal. Obviously, the Gainesville Sun and the Ocala Star Banner, they're both owned by the New York Times, correct?
Not anymore. That's
Okay.
it's Gannett. Gannett and the
Gannett.
USA Today Network.
Well, there you
It
go.
was New York Times many years ago.
So that's so I'm learning. I always learn everything. Like that's what I remember. I was living in Fort Lauderdale the last 4 years, so I'm learning too as we go on. But do you still work for the Gainesville Sun and the Ocala Star Banner?
No, I do not. So that's what brought me here. So I'm very familiar with almost the whole state of Florida. I had never lived in this part of Florida. Kids or my daughter and grandkids are nearby, along with other family. So I was thrilled to be up in the Gainesville and North Central Florida area.
It's a little different than Key West, huh?
You think? Indeed. But I was very excited about that. So the Gainesville Sun and the Ocala Star Banner, Leesburg Daily Commercial, I was brought in as a regional group publisher for them. My position was part of a very large restructuring, and it was eliminated in March of 2021.
How long were you in the newspaper industry for?
Oh, almost very long, like 28 years, long time.
Oh my God.
Long time.
You know, that's the newspaper industry is so interesting to me because when I grew up, it was always, we'd always have the Gainesville Sun delivered every morning. And the first thing I remember doing is pulling the newspaper at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Right.
And I would read the sports page and my dad would read the front page and the local section. And it was something that was, I mean, it's one of the few memories that I remember every morning is reading the newspaper. But as times change, you know, certain, you know, tastes change, and today, you know, you see more news being consumed online than ever before, which I think is, you know, a good thing in some respects, but in other respects, I think the media had a lot more, at least the newspapers had more credibility back in the day because they were really intent on trying to find the truth and not be the first to break a story, right?
It was very different. It
Yeah.
was different, and again, that was, you know, kind of pre-internet days, right? And so it was very different. I think now, what you find, especially in larger cities, is newspapers are sort of losing touch with their communities. But it wasn't a local decision; it was part of a corporate restructuring.
Yeah.
And so it was many of us were eliminated on you know, back in March of 2021. So.
But it led to better things because
think so.
Because my understanding is that you're quite the story, that you believe in stories, and you're quite the
Absolutely.
storyteller. And instead of just trying to beat everyone to the punch for a story, for the news, so to speak, you're able to tell stories now.
That's exactly right.
So let's talk a little bit about what your new venture is. I want to make sure I read it correctly. It's called the Gainesville City Lifestyle magazine.
That is correct.
All right, and so let's tell the listeners a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, so the Gainesville City Lifestyle magazine, many of you might remember the Gainesville magazine. That was
I do.
That was a product of the Gainesville Sun, basic lifestyle magazine, kind of covering the community. That had been around for many years, but it was eliminated also with my position. Many of the niche products went away. So I felt like at that point that there was or could be a void in the community. So it's actually, I affiliated with Lifestyle Publications. We're in about 140 markets.
Wow.
It is a franchise, so I bought it for Gainesville.
Wonderful.
Specifically to be able to cover all the positive aspects of the community, covering stories, like you mentioned, storytelling. So, you know, taking a local business like Meldon Law, like Spurrier's, and talking about kind of that alter ego in a very positive way, you know, looking at all of the different other aspects that we all have.
I have seen the magazine and the stories, and it does get more in depth than it can be on just like on a daily basis. You know, let me ask you this: what volume are you on right now?
So we launched October a year ago. So I'm turning 1 year old in October.
Oh my God! So, and it's a monthly
It is
publication.
monthly, so that'll-
so this would be your
My 13th.
Your 13th.
Correct.
And this is something that if you want to know about small businesses, including ours or Spurrier's or a bunch of different new businesses, this is the only way you're going to get the stories in one place. And is it just published in print, or do you do it online? What's the and how can people find out about it?
Yeah, we do have a digital version as well. We are primarily a print product, and a lot of people kind of are a little, how can you be doing a print magazine in this day and age, especially when so much print is struggling? But again, like I mentioned, our mission is to be that community connector and really focus on positive, uplifting stories. And we frankly, I'll be honest, we shy away from anything that's polarizing, controversial, or political. I mean, let other outlets cover those types of stories.
You're not trying to say something provocative just to get listeners.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So we do look for things that are compelling, but of interest to people and uplifting. And so our digital version is there, but we are primarily a print product.
And I'll tell you, and I'm sure there's listeners out there, this is the truth, is I always veered towards paper over digital. I just don't like digital because I can't get it all in my hands and flip through it quickly.
Yeah.
And so for me, we still do a written newsletter every month from our law firm. We've been doing it for 16 years now. We've never missed a month, and we write it all in house. Not as intricate as the Lifestyle. It's only a 4-page newsletter. But the fact is, we don't do it email. We only send it in paper.
You only send it in paper.
And so that way, people have it in their kitchen. They can read it.
It's well received.
And it's well received. And we have we keep getting subscribers. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's either they don't want to unsubscribe to our newsletter because it's too much work, or what I like to believe is because they like to have recipes, and they like to have the crossword puzzles and the things that they can have in their hands instead of just being on this screen that just you get distracted and you flip through it.
You don't have the permanence.
And you don't have the
like printing something out and walking around with it. You had asked about how people can get us, and anybody can subscribe. So we are direct mailed to certain neighborhoods, but anybody can get the magazine at no charge.
And when we come back, we're gonna take a break in about a little less than 2 minutes. We're gonna go into where people can find the magazine, how they can subscribe. I want to talk about some upcoming feature stories that we may be looking out for. And if someone has a business, I'm assuming they can contact you to determine whether it's something that would work for them and for your magazine, and it would be a good fit.
You bet, absolutely.
So, we're going to be coming back in about a minute. Once again, I want to let everyone know out there that we're here at Spurrier's Grill and Grill. If you can see the helmets in the background, Rynni, I don't know if you've been here before, but this place is pretty incredible.
It's amazing.
It's a museum with food in it, is what I say. Very good food.
Very good food.
Yes. All the food is farm to table, and I think they have 1 or 2 freezers in the whole restaurant. It's huge. It's got I think 20,000 square feet, something like that.
Beautiful.
And the only freezers are for ice cream, from what I was told. So all the food is coming in fresh. And so this is the type of business that Rynni features in her Lifestyle magazine. And so we're going to go to a break, and once we come back, we're going to get into how you can be featured in Gainesville magazine. I think a lot of listeners out there are going to want to know all the information on that, and a little bit about what we can expect to see in the future with regards to the magazine and its growth, and how we're going to make it so it's the must-have magazine of Gainesville, Florida.
Thank you.
So let's go to our first break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Being a client at Meldon Law was special because I felt like I was really being listened to, and I felt welcome by the entire staff. If I were in a situation where I needed legal advice and help, I would absolutely reach out to Jeffrey because his reputation alone speaks for itself. But on a personal level, I know that he would take care of me and help me solve those problems, and I would feel safe with him.
Okay, we're back here for the final segment of this episode of Meldon Law and Friends podcast. We have Rynni Henderson here. Rynni has got an extraordinary story. She has been in the newspaper industry for almost 3 decades, has lived all around the southeastern United States, born in New Orleans, lived in Key West, and has now decided to make Gainesville her home. And in doing so, she has started the first ever Gainesville City Lifestyle magazine. So this is one of a kind. She's celebrating her 1-year anniversary in October. So this is a great time for people out there to be learning about this magazine because, number one, you can educate yourself on some incredible businesses that are here local in Gainesville, and Gainesville is growing at a fast pace. So if you don't stay up to date, you will not know. Trust me, I am up to date, and I learn new things all the time. So this is a great resource for the people who live in Gainesville. Not to mention, you can also possibly feature your business in Gainesville City Lifestyle. So let's go into back to the beginning a little bit. First of all, if someone wants to get a subscription, what's the best way for them to get a subscription?
The best thing to do would be to go to our website, which is, it's very simple. It's citylifestyle.com/GainesvilleFL. So very simple way. There's a button on there that says email publisher, and you just click on it. There's also a place to subscribe on there. So we make it very simple. But if anybody gets confused with how to actually click the subscribe button, they can click the email publisher button and notify me as well.
So there you go. And what's the cost for a subscription per year?
There's no charge. So we are direct mailed at no charge to not to 100% of the households in Gainesville. That would be very cost prohibitive. But to certain demographic areas, kind of higher end demographics, to be honest. And but anybody again can have the magazine. We have a number of businesses that several hundred businesses that get the magazine as well. Kind of typical place where you'd see magazines, restaurants, dental offices.
So this is an incredible advertisement opportunity for people out there who are starting new businesses or have really successful existing businesses. You know, would they be able to contact you through the website if they wanted to advertise in the magazine as well?
Absolutely, yes. The website is very user friendly to reach out to me. We do offer a lot of content opportunities for local businesses. So, and I want to say we don't do advertorials that you charge money for. That we look for local content on businesses. So we are always excited to hear about a new business that we can feature, tell their story. That's
incredible. Well, look, for those people out there who have not seen it yet and want an opportunity to get Gainesville City Lifestyle magazine, Gainesville City Lifestyle magazine, they can go on the website and it's easy to get. If you don't remember the website, just Google Gainesville City Lifestyle magazine.
Right. Yes, you'll see us. We'll come right up. Also, if you happen to be taking a trip anytime soon, we do have several hundred at the airport, right there in the kiosk near baggage claim and the rental cars. So several hundred at the airport through the Chamber of Commerce and, like I said, other local businesses as well.
And so this is incredible. I'm looking at what you've done here. I'm looking at your CV or at least a little bit of it. And you're also a Gainesville Chamber diplomat, a BANCF ambassador, a Rotarian, and a member of GAWN.
What all
so
those,
yeah,
you know
so
what all those
so why don't you?
acronyms are?
Yes, I do, but I want you. Can you let the audience know what BANCF ambassador means?
We live in a world of acronyms, don't we?
Yes.
We call it BANCF, Builders Association of North Central Florida.
They do a horseshoe tournament.
They do.
Yes,
And a
I've been
fishing
there.
tournament, a
Yes.
charity fishing tournament, which is in Crystal River, which I was a part of this last spring.
Did you win?
I was there as a volunteer, so I was working the way in, watching all the exciting fish come in, and the fun part. No, I didn't go out and fish. I could have. I love to fish, but GAWN is Gainesville Area Women's Network.
Okay.
So Gainesville is a very, very easy community for a newcomer. Very easy to get involved.
Good.
And I felt very welcomed when I came here as publisher for the Gainesville Sun. That was short-lived. And just transitioned to owning this new magazine. And it's just been a really great community to jump in and get involved with.
Wow. I mean that's the way to do it. You got to join organizations, and you have to make a choice. What's incredible is that you've done this basically on the heels of COVID. So salute to you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's
Yeah,
a,
yeah, that's right.
I think it's been a tough couple years.
Yeah, it has.
And the people who are really intent on going out there and making things happen, I think, have the opportunity to do so. And
Yes.
some people, it's been a really difficult time. So we're hoping that Gainesville continues to grow. Let me ask you this. What have you found about, you said Gainesville's been a welcoming community. What do you think about Gainesville in terms of its growth opportunities and, the fact it's a little different than most of the cities in North Central Florida?
It is different, and it's different from a lot of the communities. I think I might have mentioned our magazines are in about 140 markets across the country, all of them very hyper-local. Many of our markets are very, very affluent and very upper end. Gainesville is a little bit of everything, which I just love about Gainesville. It's not, we're a college town, obviously. We're all about the Gators, but we're agricultural. We're eco. We're business focused, and the growth. Oh my goodness! I mean, just in the short time I've lived here, which is going on 4 years, the traffic. Right?
Well,
it's so much worse.
It's going to get worse and worse.
But I look at that as progress. So
yes.
when I'm sitting here in all this traffic and thinking, it wasn't like this 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I'm thinking, well, but we've grown so much.
Well, look where we're sitting in now. If you guys have
This
not
wasn't
been
here
out
when I
here
moved
before, it's Celebration Point is brand new. And we've got this, not only do we have this restaurant, we have stores, we have other restaurants, we have a state-of-the-art movie theater, which Gainesville did not have.
It's
We
beautiful.
didn't have any IMAX or whatever, RPX or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. So we're moving into the 21st century, and that's
but
a good
not too
thing.
fast. I think we're growing at a nice pace.
Exactly,
so.
exactly. So with regards to Gainesville City Lifestyle, are there any articles that are coming up that you want to talk about, or any businesses that you've enjoyed featuring that maybe people can go out there and grab the magazine and take a look at?
Every month is a lot of fun. We do have themes each month, and so our October issue is going to be out probably towards the end of this week as food and drink. So we'll be featuring, you'll see lots of information about different restaurants, recipes, our picks. You'll see a whole lot of that, more than normal. November is going to be our thankful issue, where we'll be focusing some of the nonprofits and community organizations that we're very grateful for, as well as talking to some local business leaders and business owners about their holiday traditions. We're going to carry that over into December also.
I love it. So you have a focus on making it relevant and locally centered. And we need that, honestly.
trying.
It's a
We're
very
trying.
difficult. Gainesville is growing, and I feel like it's growing
Yeah,
at a
it's-
very fast pace, and we want to still keep it local,
Yeah.
keep it personal, and keep it so you know your neighbors. I remember I always told people when I was growing up, at least when I went to I was growing up, I was born and raised in Gainesville, but I was used to walk on the sidewalks here, and everybody would look each other in the eye and say hello and nod
they
their
all
head.
knew each other.
And everybody knew each other. And now it's not always like that, but we're trying to keep it that way because I think the world's a better place where people acknowledge each other.
It's still a small town feel.
And it's still got a small town feel. Now, have you checked out Ocala at all?
Yes, I used to be the publisher for the Ocala Star Banner, so I used to spend quite a bit of time there.
Talk about growth. That place is
They've exploded.
It's
Yes.
exploded.
They've exploded, yeah.
And so I think Gainesville, and we also just opened an office in Lake City as well, and Lake
Right.
City is growing at a fast pace. I think there's only so much land in South Florida that people have to keep moving up north.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So with that being said, Rynni, is there anything, any other events or anything else regarding the Gainesville City Lifestyle you want to talk about before we finish up today's episode?
I just want to make sure that everybody's aware that we're very approachable. Our team is all approachable. We are very interested in story ideas, especially stories that are positive and uplifting. And so we always urge people to reach out to us. I will mention my favorite issue so far in this 1 year period. In May, we do the women's issue for Mother's Day. And in June, we did the men's issue for Father's Day.
Awesome.
And we focused on 4 community leaders who were female in May and did the same thing in June for the men. And I really had a lot of fun with that because it was people who really are ingrained in this community and really very family focused, and that was a lot of fun to focus on.
Very cool.
People like that.
So for those of y'all that don't know this, my father obviously generally hosts the show. He's in mediation today, so on one of his cases. So he called me at 3:15. Says, "Carrie, run out there and do the podcast." I said, "Yes, Dad. Whatever. You
just
jump.
found out at
You
3:15?
jump. I did. You say you jump, and I say how high. But he really wanted to be here. This is his favorite day of the week. Is this podcast because he loves talking to the new, and I do too. Actually, it's much more fun being in here than sometimes being behind a typewriter or a computer, I should say, typing out memos or motions. But one of the notes he put on your description today, I need to ask you about this, is that you are a certified specialist of wine.
Oh, yes.
And he has in handwriting here, you can see on the bottom, good topic, Paso Robles, Austin Hope,
Yeah.
Veuve Clicquot, and Santa Margarita.
I used to sell all those brands. In a former life, I was a wine and sales rep, and so I decided to get certified as a CSW.
So for his edification, just as a off-topic analyst of those three wines, how would you rate them? First, Paso Robles, Austin Hope.
So
Because he's going to be listening to this.
So I'm not familiar with that particular
Okay.
wine, but I will say Paso Robles as a wine region is
Yes.
stellar, absolutely.
So Paso
stellar.
Robles is the region. See, I don't know anything about
Correct,
wine.
it's the
Austin Hope
appellation.
is the vinery or the winery.
That's
whatever-
correct.
Whatever you
yes.
want to.
So it's an appellation is what Paso Robles is. So very known for red wines.
And then Santa Margarita.
So that's a Pinot Grigio from Italy,
Okay.
and it's quite good, very light and crisp, nice for our climate here.
Well, there we go. So
And Veuve Clicquot, that is champagne. So you never can go wrong with that.
So my dad actually went to the region of Champagne in
how
France, and he brought back a bunch of Veuve Clicquot, and
How lovely.
so that's him and his wife Patricia's favorite champagne.
Tell your dad that we can talk wine anytime he wants.
There we go. So he's going to be watching this. I had to ask you about those
Oh,
wines
no,
because
I'm
I had
glad
the
you did.
notes here. And the last thing he wrote is that you were an LSU graduate.
I did go to LSU. Don't hold that against me, please.
Oh, it's okay.
I really, truly love the Gators, and I mean that sincerely, much to my parents' chagrin. I love the Gators.
And you love, but you must love food if you're from New Orleans, right?
I do love food.
I
yeah.
mean, that's like the food capital of the world right there.
I'm a foodie, a little too much sometimes.
Do you have any wine or food featured in Gainesville City Lifestyle?
So we do feature food items almost every single month. We have a section called Culinary Creations. We also have a section called Food and Drink. So we usually feature different types of restaurants. Sometimes they do a recipe, sometimes they don't. So we do. We have done stories on wine. We have. I want to do more of that. So
Yes.
look for more of the food and wine pairings, and you will see more of that, especially now that our page count has continued to grow significantly.
You know what's really crazy about Gainesville is there's so many. This is alcohol related, but this doesn't have to do with wine. Is there's a lot of breweries.
Yeah.
Like,
they're
and they've all popped out in the last 15 years.
And they're very good.
And they're very good. That'd be a fun episode too.
That would be, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have another template feature called Hops and Vines. So it's funny. It's like here you're reading my mind because this is all like in our planning calendar.
Yeah, so this inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, so-
Okay, but there's a lot of non-alcoholic features as well. So don't
we-
think we're a bunch of lushes
No, we
here.
love ice cream and milkshakes.
We
too.
love ice cream and milkshakes as well. Okay, well, we had a great episode, Rynni. Before we go out, once again, can you let the listeners out there know how to contact you?
Yes, absolutely. Best way would be through the website, citylifestyle.com/contact.